Can you see the difference between when you're forcing yourself to work and when you're in flow and when you're really...
Oh, of course, yeah, definitely.
And when you do get kind of trapped, do you have like a playlist that you kind of turn to, like pieces of music in specific that like always work for you, or is it a matter of just stepping away for a while or going and sitting outside? Or do you not ever even get artist block?
You know, I don't get artist block, but I will cycle through, and there are some songs that I think that really kind of get me...
trigger.
Yeah, kind of help out. But I'll just keep flipping through until I'm like, okay, that's a good one to paint too. You know, and it doesn't mean that that's going to work next time either.
Right.
So it's like, but it
That's
definitely...
today's match.
Yeah, so, but it definitely has to be pretty fast because I'm painting fast.
Uh-huh.
The slower Pink Floyd's I'll put on once that's when I slow things down.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'll and in fact a lot of times there's certain movies I'll just throw on the TV and listen to. I love Cary Grant.
Oh.
So when I put these movies in, I don't really even pay attention to I'm painting. I'm just listening to the movies.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens.
And they all have beautiful accents in them.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, the movie's done, and I'm done with the painting. So no way.
Yeah. How long does it take you to paint a painting? It depends, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but generally, what's the range usually in terms of these types of pieces?
Usually, it takes like 1 or 2 days.
Wow. Are you thinking about it for a while and kind of getting it into your body first, or?
Yeah, well, you know, I'll do some comps and stuff, but like it depends on what.
Color comps in the computer, on paper?
Sometimes in a computer, sometimes on paper, but a lot of times I just have it in my head too. But usually, before I started painting, it's all done already in my head.
Oh,
so
better
it's just
that way.
it's done. I just got to put it.
Hence the aggression on canvas.
Right. So it's not. I'm not like trying to find my way on the canvas. It's in a way I've already done all the strokes in my paint strokes in my head. So it's just a matter of putting it down.
And how long does it usually take you to formulate that? Does it range really widely?
It does, because some pieces I see right away. I'm like, oh wow, this would be really cool like this. You know, and other ones
like the this guy.
Yeah. So
that was like why has that not been done yet? It needs to be done.
I know.
Yeah. Kaboom! There's like a little kaboom over there. I love that.
Yeah. So there are some that come a lot easier, and some you kind of struggle with, and those are
in the brain.
Hard ones.
You're struggling.
Yeah. It's like, is this it? Is this? And that's. I really don't like to start a painting unless I have it in my head done. It's like once.
Can you tell the difference when there's a passion to actually get started?
Definitely. It's like if I don't paint for a while, I'm like get really irritated, and I'm like, I gotta paint.
What's a while? A couple of days? A week?
I can go like a week sometimes, or 2 weeks without painting, and that's torturous.
Yeah, I'm that way about music, so I can understand.
So it's like, and then and I'm pretty busy doing all kinds of stuff all the time. So I'm like, I have to set a day or two aside where I'm just going to paint, and everybody has to leave me alone. Just let me do anything. So.
Do you have a section of your house, or you have outside your house? How do you have it set up?
If you ask my wife,
it's all that?
It's all the house. So and it is. I mean,
I'm sure she loves you to pieces.
She does. But she'll sit there. I incorporated it into the house. I have a downstairs studio that's more for the computer stuff, and I have a library of books, and I'm kind of turning it into like a steampunk thing, kind of like I have like these old wood cabinets for my books and stuff like that, and then I have several different computers and stuff, so all my scanning, printing, all that stuff down there.
Can you talk a little bit about this new style that you're painting? Talk about where the inspiration comes from your switch. I know you're continuing to do both, but where did this idea come from, and why? And what are the subjects that you're inspired to do in this design style?
Well, I just love the paper's called Bird's Nest, and it has really, rough feel to it, as you see. And
it makes you want to touch it, which is really nice. And I mean, I think you're pulling texture out of a very flat feeling, where this it's like very, it's like visceral. Even just looking at it, it's like making your eyes, I don't know, it's like you're touching it just from looking at it. It's amazing.
What it does for me is it makes me be more expressive. And when I'm doing something like this, it's a lot tighter, and especially with the Star Wars pieces, they're definitely a lot tighter. You have to worry about the perspective lines and likenesses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So doing something like this is it's kind of like doing the block in and just having fun with it, and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like therapy to me, because I have a tendency to get so tight all the time, and I'm constantly fighting that. So it's like, I don't think it's tight, and then people come in, it's like, it looks like a photograph. Oh, man. You know?
So you want to loosen up?
I'm always fighting that because I started out just, my first paintings when years ago in the 80s, they would take months to do. And I mean, I'd paint every single hair. I was like so anal about my paintings. And so I'm constantly, I still have that in me, and I'm constantly fighting that. That's why I start off the painting so expressive, in the way I paint. But you don't see what this looked like before it's finished. At one time, it's really rough. Mm-hmm. And these are kind of like my fun paintings that are just, that could be expressive, just have fun, and,
mm-hmm.
and it's a release in a way.
And how long does one of those take? Because it looks like
it's 2 or 3 hours.
But still, I mean, it looks like fun.
Yeah.
I love these. I think these are amazing. But there's something about when you see this, there's passion and
right.
joy in them in a way that would be very hard to capture, I think. And yet it's all there. I love the color choices, and they're kind of, how do you use a variety of different paper colors?
Yes, I do.
And how many different, are there just tons of different colors that you can use?
There's not tons, but there are a few. There's maybe 20 different colors.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And you pull the character out of the color of the paper?
Right, yeah. I'll like look at a character and it's like, oh, what would this look good on? And it's like with Stitch, I mean, even though he's blue, I thought he would be kind of fun to bring out of a blue color, darker blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love those, and I love that you added color outside of the character as well. And I think, I'm going to grab another one.
Okay.
Can you hand me that one? What's that, guys?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that one.
Because I do want to show this one too. Ode to James, who told me I should have it, and now I'm having it. Yeah, I like the fact that you have something that's so, I mean, it's monochromatic, but it doesn't look it because of the texture. Right. That's really interesting to me. The fact that you can make it less monochromatic just by virtue of its texture. Now, how do you decide which characters and how to draw them on here?
Well, on this one, I decided on doing that character, but I was like looking at the colors, and I was like, well, the only one I could do this on, I thought would be the warmer colors, because it has like a nostalgic look to it.
Absolutely.
If I had like any really bright colors and it's black and white film, I don't know if that really made that much sense. Mm-mm. So, and I have to pick certain characters, and I have to get kind of close up to them, because on this stuff, everything gets sucked in so fast. Mm-hmm. So I try to go for like really expressive facial features and stuff like that when I'm doing these, but something that's kind of close up.
Who's your favorite Disney character?
I really like Stitch a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a little manic, a little over the top.
Yeah.
It's like Metallica as a character.
Yeah, definitely.
Essentially. What would your advice be to new artists who wanted to get into doing the same kind of art that you do?
Well, I mean, I had a friend in Cleveland that always told me that if you're going to get into art, if there's anything that you can do besides art, don't do it. Mm-hmm. Because it's you got to do stuff that, even though like years will go by and you're painting, and you have no idea if anybody's going to buy your work, but you still, it's almost like a version of insanity, because you're like, you're constantly doing stuff, and you're hoping someday you'll get noticed, but you really don't know, and it could be really tough out there. And plus I started out in the 80s. I saw so many careers just like disappear with the computer. The photo retouching. There's a lot of jobs at the time, way back when, that you can make your money off and wait for the illustration jobs to come in. Mm-hmm. That paid a lot more. But because everybody started getting personal computers, it was like all these jobs just like evaporated and disappeared. So you have to have the ability to you have to have the passion, but you have to have the ability to morph into adapt, yeah, into the new environment, and it can be tough, and a lot of artists aren't really, you know, adaptable. Then, you know, hopefully at that time in their life, somebody sees what they like in that artist, and they could do really well. But it doesn't always happen that way, and it's not necessarily means that if you're the best artist right now in the entire planet, that you're going to be a rich artist. Mm-hmm. You could be a starving artist.
Although you don't have to be. I think some people think that that's like you have to either be crazy or starving or both. And
right.
I think that it's a beautiful thing to succeed, both financially and with joy at being an artist. I mean, and I think when you have passion, it can follow. Those two can follow.
Right. And I think that the best advice, though, that I can give is for artists to understand that doing the art is a very tiny portion of what you need to do as an artist. If any of them are going to school right now, the first thing you need is, you know, business and marketing and
portfolio and organization,
being able to talk to people, because it's so much of that, and then you got to create the good art too and develop your skills as much as possible. I don't really ever feel like I'm done learning. I learn every day. I look at stuff all the time. Oh, that's pretty cool. You know, it's like whether it's a movie or whatever, I get my inspiration for all kinds of different things.
Sounds like, not to be trippy, but art imitating life in that respect. Because if you stand still, you know, and don't change and don't adapt and aren't learning, you know, you're not going to stay happy very long.
No, you know, if I woke up and I wasn't challenged every day, then
you'd stop painting.
I would stop painting.
And everything else.
I never wanted to feel like I'm so good at one particular thing that it's like I had some galleries say, you know, it'd be really cool if you could just stick to one thing and just like paint this bird.
Oh dear.
That'd be so painful. I just love painting. I love creating.
And if you keep your passion, and you find things like this to do. And then there's a whole other way to express yourself that people just eat up anyway. So it works out perfectly for everybody.
Yeah, it does.
Great. So thank you very much for watching, and check out our website, ArtInsights.com, or our web magazine, ArtInsightsMagazine.com. And if you have any questions, you can always call the gallery. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Bye.